Okay. We have Chris Bolger. Let me know if I just pronounced that terribly, Chris.
It's Bolger.
Bolger. I knew I'd mess it up. All right.
It's like Folger's coffee with a B.
That's a good way to do it. All right. So let's get right into it. Chris, tell us the name of your company and what you do.
My company's name is Pure Focus Fit, and I am a peak performance consultant.
Okay. And what would you say a peak performance consultant is?
Um, Basically, what I do is I enable people to lose weight, eliminate stress, and save their relationships.
Okay. So it's a mental and a physical thing that you do.
Yes,
Okay. That's cool. And how long have you been in business?
I've been in business for about 12 years. This Pure Focus Fit LLC just started about a year ago, and this is the first time people can actually I can give everything I've got instead of just one avenue.
Gotcha, gotcha. So before this, what else were you doing besides Pure Focus Fit?
Before this, I owned a gym called Conquest Kettlebell for about 5 or 6 years. Um, I'd be able to do fitness training in one area, and then I would rent an office on the top, and then another floor of the building, and I would do hypnosis there.
Oh,
So it was I couldn't do this. I couldn't do both in the same spot because I needed privacy for one, and the other one was kind of public. So I would either usually go back and forth between the two buildings, between the two offices.
that sounds tough.
It was fun.
uh,
It was fun while it lasted.
yeah, yeah. So within the last 12 years, and I guess more specifically within the last year, roughly how many clients have you had?
In the past year, about 36.
36. Okay, so that seems like a lot. Most people don't get 36 clients in their first year.
Well, the caveat is, I'm sure we're gonna get to this later on, but the caveat is how I got there in the first place.
Okay. So, I mean, uh, this might kind of lead into the next question, which is how often do you get clients in general?
Um, Better way to gauge how often I get clients is how often do I like to put I like to say I like to put my nuts on the line. Because the way I would get these clients is by doing very bold things, but yet very grounded and controlled things. Um,
Could you give us a couple examples?
yeah, for example, I was doing hypnosis in Hoboken, New Jersey. I was in Sinatra Park, and I was doing hypnosis. And when you do hypnosis and it's successful in public, what happens is, somebody sees you lay somebody out on the grass or in the street. It's immediately like, all right, well, what's going on? They're not fighting, but it's confusing. What's going on? So they have to come over and see what's going on.
Right.
So they see that this person is stuck to the floor, or forgot their name, or something crazy like that, or they're a wooden plank and someone could step on top of them and they won't bend. It's like they're like, whoa, what the hell? What is that? How do I do that? Someone either wants it done for quitting smoking or losing weight, or
Right.
somebody wants to learn how to do it. So they see the scene, they see this big crowd come out of nowhere, and they're like, how do I do that, or how do I get involved in that? So it's kind of word of mouth, and when people see that you exist and that you do things, they'll give you more things to do.
Sure, sure. I mean, I would assume seeing a live performance of something that one of your services that you offer is certainly an interesting, probably a novel way of kind of getting leads that most people probably don't try.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's definitely scary, right? To get out there. It's easy to email people, or, behind a computer, or reach out to somebody on social media, but to get out there and do something in public where there's people around you, that takes some balls to do that.
Yeah, it's always stressful in the beginning, but it gets enjoyable. It really does get enjoyable.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, so let's keep moving here. So, let's kind of delve a little bit deeper into the lead discussion. So, what sort of challenges have you faced when you're trying to generate new leads for your business?
Generating leads in new business was one of the hardest obstacles I've had in the past. I mean, I started fitness training on my 18th birthday, and basically what they do is you get certified, a piece of paper that says, okay, now you can go and do your thing. They don't tell you how to get clients. They don't tell you how to get business. So I learned that you have to learn how to rely on yourself and I use the hardest part for me was getting more people in that were like cold calls or cold leads. The biggest issue with me was getting word of mouth.
Hmm.
You get like a warm market was a little easier, but for a lot of years it was tough. I mean, I kept looking at my biggest mistake was I was looking in my immediate surroundings for people to work with, when really like the larger picture, the larger audience is usually somewhere outside of where you can see, like online or just outside of your town, outside of your state even. So the hardest
Right.
part I found is looking for leads, looking for more business.
Okay. So what have you tried so like when it comes to looking for new business and like you said, getting out of potentially your town or what have you? What specifically have you tried?
I tried online marketing a little bit.
Okay. And what do you mean by online marketing?
I would be social with people. I'd add people on Facebook and MySpace,
Okay. And
and
how,
it was, I would make flyers, I would make pictures, and I don't have any skills with Photoshop, so I would use Photo Draw, which is a little easier to use.
okay.
It's a little slop. It comes out a little sloppier, but it gets the job done, and
Yeah.
hopefully that would entice some people to join. But what happened was I wouldn't know where to look. I wouldn't know where would my ideal clients be, where I work at them online, or I would travel to their house. Like, where would I find these people? So that's been a big issue. I tried it, and it's been working. I'm gonna say relatively slow compared to what I've seen online. Like, some people have thousands of followers by just talking on video about their day, and it blows my mind how they can do that. It's cool. It's awesome, but I haven't been able to do that yet.
Right. So you'd say the whole online marketing and more specifically social media outreach hasn't been super successful so far at generating new business.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Have you tried any other type of online marketing avenues like email marketing or Google AdWords or things like that?
I looked into it, and I just started working with somebody who's an expert in the field. He's an author of this book, Share 27 Ways, Rob Anspach. Cool guy, down to earth, but he's teaching me, and I'm slowly starting to get it. And this is one of those things where it's probably really easy to get, but because I work it up in my head to be something like, all right, this is going to mean a lot. If I get this to work, that means I can do something cool, like buy a house or move out, like, move across the country or something like that. So I
Right.
put a lot of pressure on it, but really, if a 16-year-old can do it, then we all can do it.
And so what specifically have you tried besides the social media though with online?
I would try doing sales at my hometown. I would try putting up flyers in different um, parking lots. I would look for professional parks where they had doctors' offices and other gyms, and I would make it kind of tailor towards that audience. Like, if it was a gym, I'd say, tired of going to the gym every day, or still don't know what you're doing at the gym, and that'd be the headline. It'd be this big spiel, and the turnout was kind of good, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. I would get a lot of fitness clients, but I don't want to do just fitness. It's a lot to it. So they would come to me for one service, but it's really impossible to come to me for one service now.
So like you were saying before, you're not just a personal trainer or anything like that. It's like more of a holistic. You're doing everything for
Yeah,
them.
I'm combining 12 different certifications
Ah, wow, that's a
in
lot.
12, yeah, in a couple years, about 12 years of doing this to make the profession that I've wanted to do for about 12 years.
Right. I like the approach you just mentioned though about going to specific locations and creating different headlines and flyers to fit that specific audience. Like that's pretty clever actually. I haven't really heard that approach before.
But yeah, there's that way, and I just got the idea this morning actually, and I got this idea when I was going for I go for an hour walk every morning,
Hmm.
a morning walk, and usually I get some awesome ideas on the way back. So this one idea was to look at the social media gurus, the ones that have all the followers, the ones that are kind of doing what you want to do, even if it's not perfect. I mean, because you want to differentiate yourself. But looking at their audience, and you can follow them and just watch how they talk and how they talk to their audience and how their audience responds. And just, it's like drafting. You want to aim to be just like them, but be different in their way.
Mm, right.
That's
Right.
that's my new experiment. I started trying that today, and so far it's pretty good. I got 2 friend requests from people from this other follower. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I
It's
think
like
that's
a
always the
complimentary service.
Yeah, I think that's always a good approach to look at the people who are doing it correctly and not carbon copy them, but imitate them in some ways. They obviously know what they're doing in some sense, and most likely better than you do, right? Because that's why they have all those followers or all those likes and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so are you doing any blogging for your site?
Yeah, I started blogging a few months ago. I blog every Monday and Wednesday, and I cover topics on how to eliminate stress and gain control as a professional.
Wow, that's pretty aggressive. Twice a week you're blogging?
Yeah, usually.
And so you said you don't currently have an email list, or did I mishear you before?
About that, I had an email list.
Had what happened? Did they run away? What happened to them?
No, I don't know. I pressed the wrong button on Aweber, and it kind of all went blank.
Oh no.
Yeah, I called them up, and they was like, "Can you recover this? I think I did something kind of stupid." And they're like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" I'm like, I don't want to hear that from the customer service.
Right. Oh no, you really shouldn't have done
It's
that.
okay. I mean, because it didn't take me that long to build up. I had a very small amount when I did delete it, so I mean, I could always just start all over again.
Right, right. So what are you up? If you don't mind me asking, what are you up to at this point?
Right now I'm up to 145, 146.
Okay, that's a solid start.
It's something. It's if you can get 100, then you can do 1,000. If you can do
Right,
1,000, you can do 100,000.
right, right. So what are you doing to get people to join your email list currently? Are they just from your website, or how do they find out about it in the first place?
Well, two things. Well, there's three things really. There's keyword search. That's this guy Rob I told you about before. He has been teaching me enough where I'm starting to get followers that come from different countries that have no other way of contacting or knowing who I am, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not many, but it's growing per week. They're finding me and they're like, "Wow, this is great information. I didn't know I can do this." And it's like, "Wow, cool. Somebody appreciates me, you know." And then
Right
another
on.
way is I use Facebook a lot. Facebook, like I said before, Facebook there's people who have a lot of followers and they post a lot of motivational things and people just like it because it's like, wake up today and do your best, and it's like 6,000 likes and like 12,000 shares. And it's like, huh. And then you go and you post your own thing with like a lot of value, like something that you've been working on, and people, maybe one person that you know is like, oh, cool.
Right.
So what I would do is I would look for statuses that from people with a lot of followers that they say something really awesome or really high value, and my goal is to comment and add more value to that.
Ah, I see.
For example, somebody, I don't give the names because I don't know if he's going to listen to this or not, but somebody with a lot of followers said something about haters and people that put you down when you do something different, and how it was like they don't affect us, they just piss us off and motivate us.
Right.
I'm like, well, if they aren't affecting you, then they shouldn't be pissing you off or motivating you really. So I
Hmm.
chime in and I say how when I deal with someone who's low value, I'm not going to attack them with the same kind of fire. I'm going to find out what the pain is. Ask them a question that makes them indirectly look inside themselves for the answer.
Hmm.
And then, in worst case scenario, you're just lifting them up, or you're walking away, but you're not going to put them down or feel affected by it. And
Right.
from
And
that, I would get like 15 friend requests from people that had same kind of mindset, that were interested in what I do because of that one comment.
that's an interesting approach. You're finding like you said, you find a popular person and you join their conversation, start trying to create your own, right? And if you have a very strong opinion in one way or the other, that, like you said, that's going to definitely attract a certain subset of the people who are already in the conversation, and then they'll be like, oh, me and this guy agree. We should I should learn more about him, and then, like you said, they're gonna follow up with you.
Exactly. And the main thing here is that if someone's going to listen to this audio and they're going to go out and do this, I would highly recommend that every time you're going to comment on someone else's status with some kind of motivation to get followers from them, you want to make sure that you're lifting them up too. You're going to somebody, you're going in their den with their followers, and so you want to go in and give them more value. When you give somebody high value, you get more value in return.
Right, and you're not specifically pitching what you do in these comments. You're being It's a very natural part of the conversation, it sounds like.
Yeah, you never mention the product unless they ask.
Right, subtle sales. I like that. Okay. Um, I think that's pretty much all the questions I had. You did anything else to add there, Chris?
When it comes to generating business, there's one more thing that I've never seen anyone else really do, and I think would have some value for
Yeah,
people
definitely.
listening to this. Um, when I started doing hypnosis studies about 10 years ago, really shortly, it was a really big passion of mine, and I found it necessary to go and do everything I could to be the best that I can be, which would mean going into situations that left me very uncomfortable. Like I'd walk up to a group of people on the street and try to hypnotize them. The bad part about that is that I would get laughed at a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like think of your worst case scenario of getting embarrassed when approaching someone on the street. That's happened to me multiple times.
Hey, hey, hey.
But it would happen. It would always happen in the beginning of every new day approaching somebody new for hypnosis. But once you get over that initial wall of nervousness and stop thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this, then everything's going to be fine. I mean, you can have crowds of people around you really fast, taking video, taking pictures, posting them on YouTube, putting them on Facebook, tagging you. Some people would even ask me for my autograph, and it's like I was just, a 20-year-old kid on the street. I wasn't really looking for a goal. I was just doing my thing. So from that, people would find me through Facebook and MySpace, and there was some people that even they wanted to pay me for a service that I didn't even have. Some people, this one guy, Mark, great guy, it's from the middle of like nowhere, Pennsylvania. He said that he saw somebody see me do hypnosis. So this is like 3 degrees away from me. And he drove in 6 hours to spend the day with me learning instant and rapid inductions. I did
Wow.
it for free because I wasn't looking to make any money off that. I was looking to just have some fun. And it was pretty awesome. So I learned from that is that if you can cause a scene and get someone's attention and know that you're in control of the situation, what the end product's going to be, it might take balls of steel, but you'll never have to spend money on ads or do cold calling ever.
Sure. No, that's definitely an interesting approach.
If you think about it, there's only so many large companies that have ever done that themselves, but and even still they plan it ahead of time. Like Coca-Cola will show up on some busy avenue and hand out T-shirts, and it
Right.
causes a big like, whoa, what is that over there? And then you see it's Coca-Cola, you're like, oh, cool, and that's how they get people's attention. But no one has ever really. I think nowadays people are starting to make viral videos of like silly things happening in public, and then they post it, and that's their way of causing a scene. But we can all do that without technology.
It's true. That's true. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there. I want to thank Chris for coming on.
Word, thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
This was great.